Welcome and thank you for joining us today for our first webinar of this year's Human Development and Sexual Health Speaker Series. Today we will be sharing information on what's in the elementary curriculum regarding human development and sexual health, what supports are available from OFEA, including our new 2016 lesson plans, as well as what additional resources are available to you through community partners. We'd like to introduce our presenter, Heather Gardner, Curriculum Consultant with OFEA.
Good afternoon, everyone. Before we get started, I'd like to set the tone for our time together. We'll be discussing matters which might be sensitive to some, so just as we want to create an emotionally safe learning space for our students, it is our intention to do that for you. Please remember that what you write in the comment area is public and that this webinar is being recorded for future viewing. To start us off, I want to provide a quick overview of OFEA for those who may be unfamiliar with the organization and the services that OFEA provides. For our first poll, please use the poll feature to indicate how familiar you are with OFEA's programs and services. Please indicate on the poll, yes, you're familiar, you're somewhat familiar, or no, you're not familiar. As it appears that many of you are familiar with OFEA, we'll move quickly through these next few slides. OFEA is proud to be a provincial subject association for health and physical education and a leader in developing health and physical education curriculum implementation supports for educators, public health professionals, and community program leaders. OFEA has an extensive network throughout Ontario and Canada, which includes teachers, educational assistants, community coaches, recreational program leaders, program assistants, and parents. Health and physical education is an essential aspect of student achievement and overall healthy development of children and youth. As we'll discuss later in the webinar, OFEA's Health and Physical Education Curriculum Resources Grades 1 to 8 are one of many resources available from OFEA on the Teaching Tools website. Our learning goals for the webinar this afternoon include to deepen our understanding of the human development and sexual health topic area of the Healthy Living strand, to increase awareness of OFEA's human development and sexual health lesson plans, and to build understanding of local resources and support implementation. Now, we'd like to take a moment to get to know what some of your learning goals are for today. So let's pause and reflect on 2 to 3 goals that you might have for this webinar. Please share one of your either personal or group learning goals if you're viewing in a group in the chat function, and we'll be sure to keep these in mind throughout the webinar. You see Becky is sharing lesson plans. She wants to hear more about lesson plans. Great. Maria is looking for further understanding of the curriculum and how they differ from the past. Great, Sonia. We'll definitely be sharing some strategies from the lesson plans and how to build confidence. I see there's a question from Tom about the resources. So the resources are already available online. And as I'll talk about later on, this is the final piece of the H&P curriculum resource puzzle that was developed back in 2010. So those lessons already exist. They're already available from the Teaching Tools website. And these ones have been available now for the past couple of weeks. So you'll be able to find them there. And I'll show you the website how to get there. Awesome. Lots of people looking for information for the lesson plans, so that's great. Let's give it just a couple moments, as I see we only have a couple more folks typing. All right, connection to families, homes, and we'll connect to that through the curriculum as well. So thank you, everyone, for sharing your goals. And definitely, as we move through the webinar, please be sure to keep these in mind, and we'll do the same. So to start off, the following slides that we'll take you through have been adapted from content that's available from the Sex Information and Education Council of Canada, otherwise known as SECAN. These slides will provide a brief historical perspective regarding sexual health education. SECAN identified that sexual health education has typically been an issue-driven and taught in order to solve sexual health-related problems. In World War I and II, the instructional focus resulted from a rise of venereal diseases. In the 1960s and 70s, attention was given to teen pregnancy. Through the 80s and 90s, the focus of education was on HIV and AIDS, and in the 2000s, with our revised curriculum, we continue to explore the above topics while shining a new light on topics such as sexting, and life online, as well as consent. CCAN identifies sexual health education as our students' right to have information and opportunities to develop the motivation, personal insight, and skills necessary to prevent negative sexual health outcomes such as STIs, including HIV, unintended pregnancy, sexual assault or coercion, and to enhance sexual health through knowledge related to positive self-image and self-worth. CCAN shared data related to a variety of provincial assessments, which took place through third-party phone interviews, regarding parents' agreement of sexual health education in schools. As you can see in their data, over 90% of parents are in agreement of sexual health education occurring in schools, 94% in Ontario in 2013. We'll now move from the past to the present and explore the human development and sexual health topic area from the 2015 Health and Physical Education Curriculum. The revision of the Health and Physical Education Curriculum Policy document is the result of work that began in 2007. The review process was guided by research on current instructional approaches specific to this discipline, expert advice from academics, research, benchmarking, and comparisons of the curriculum with that of other national and international jurisdictions. The review also involved extensive consultations with educators, students, including those with special needs, parents, health experts, and a wide range of stakeholders. The Ontario curriculum addresses how today's students require the information, knowledge, and skills necessary not only to become critical thinkers, but also to make sound decisions about matters affecting their health and well-being before they have to make the decisions in real life. The revised Health and Physical Education curriculum from grades 1 to 12 is founded on these 5 fundamental principles. The human development, sexual health expectations are explored within the content of the fundamental principles. These principles are also reflected throughout OPHEA's 2015 Human Development and Sexual Health Lesson Plans. The 2015 curriculum includes an updated and integrated approach to health education. The focus on learning in an integrated way puts the attention on developing skills, not learning isolated topics. This allows students the opportunity to use health knowledge to make healthy choices and understand connections and impacts of their actions. They examine this within themselves and the community and vice versa. Mental health and emotional well-being are examined through all areas of the curriculum and the healthy living strand. Human development and sexual health education is more than simply teaching children and youth about the anatomy and physiology of reproduction. Sexual health can include a wide range of topics and concepts, from sexual development, reproductive health, choice, sexual readiness, consent, abstinence, and protection, to interpersonal relationships, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, gender roles and expectations, and body image. Sexual development is one component of overall human development, and learning about healthy human development begins at an early age. The 2015 curriculum also contains a set of living skills which are integrated and strengthened across the entire curriculum. This approach was taken based off of feedback from students and educators looking to build these skills for learning in the 21st century and beyond. Here you will see a sample from Grade 3 curriculum expectation. This photo capture is from the Ministry of Education parent materials illustrating the various components of the learning expectations. On the top right, you'll see the focus of learning, and in this particular expectation, it's on visible and invisible differences. Along the right-hand side, you'll also see a detailed reference, a reference to the detailed list of examples that teachers have the choice to use in their planning of instruction for students. At the bottom left, you'll see sample dialogue, which illustrates for the teacher what the learning might look like. As we shared on the previous slide, here you'll see the living skills in action embedded to support the development of personal, interpersonal, and critical and creative thinking skills. The 2015 curriculum has been updated to ensure that it is current and accurate and meets the needs of learners today and in the future. It contains opportunities for deeper learning related to a host of important topics approached in developmentally appropriate ways. Since much of the learning in health and physical education curriculum, and in particular the learning addressed in the Healthy Living strand, is personal in nature, they are intrinsically connected to students' families, relationships, as well as their cultural and/or religious values. As such, extra care and consideration should be taken by educators when approaching health topics, including demonstrating sensitivity and respect for individual perspectives. To promote understanding, students should be encouraged to explore many perspectives of health-related issues, identify valid sources of information, and find information they need. To support educators increase their understanding, knowledge, and confidence of how to teach human development and sexual health, OPHEA has developed a variety of resources, which we'll examine now. OPHEA's new Human Development and Sexual Health lesson plans reflect key changes of the Ontario curriculum grades 1 to 8 health and physical education as reflected on the previous slide. In implementing the lesson plans, it's helpful for educators and those who support them, such as school administrators and public health professionals, to understand key concepts used when teaching this topic and those referenced throughout the lessons. We'll now explore some of those key concepts. Since the learning in this strand is organized by overall expectation, the emphasis is on having students understand health topics to apply that knowledge to make informed choices about their own healthy growth and development, while also recognizing the connections between their personal health, the health of others, and the social, environmental, and other health influencing factors in the world around them. Once logged onto teachingtools.ophea.net, you will see the 3 units available for health. This screen capture shows the units available in grade 5. Instead of planning lessons specific to one health topic, the OPHEA lesson plans use a vertical learning approach as identified in the curriculum, in which the overall expectations are the central organizing element and specific health content is linked to them. As a result of its sensitive nature, instruction in OPHEA's Human Development Sexual Health unit is organized on the health topic while integrating living skills. However, the focus of the learning of this topic is on the overall expectations. Each Human Development Sexual Health unit, no matter the grade, is indicated with the same icon. Once you click on the Human Development Sexual Health unit, you will see all of the appropriate lesson plans within. These lesson plans include ready-to-use tools and support materials and are available to OPHEA's Curriculum Resources Grade 1 to 8 subscribers. Developed in partnership with health partners and elementary school educators, the lesson plans are developmentally appropriate and look to help strengthen the knowledge, understanding, and confidence of educators as they teach human development and sexual health within the Healthy Living strand of the curriculum. While teaching healthy living can be challenging, most teachers find that once a safe, inclusive, and accepting learning environment has been established, they can have thoughtful and productive discussions with their students. To support this, the first lesson within each unit of the Human Development and Sexual Health lesson plans begins with an activity to support the development of an emotionally safe environment. This activity is then revisited throughout the unit to support the development of community. The sample lesson portion viewed here is Lesson 3 of a Grade 6 unit titled Making Healthy Choices in Relationships. As the 2015 Human Development and Sexual Health lessons are the final piece to OPHEA's Health and Physical Education Curriculum Resources, they use the same format and style that you've come to know since 2010. A few of the features that we'd like to highlight include the top right corner, where you will see the lesson number, the time, the codes for curriculum expectations that are addressed throughout the unit, as well as the topic from the revised curriculum. Underneath the OPHEA logo on the left-hand side, you'll see the title of the lesson, Building Confidence. You'll see the grade and the unit title Again, making healthy choices in relationships. The lesson plans within the Human Development and Sexual Health lessons use the three-part lesson format directed by the Ministry of Education. You'll find Minds-On, Action, and Consolidation. There's also assessment connected to each of those, which very clearly links to the expectations being assessed, as well as the tools to be used during assessment. Writable assessment tools are provided for teachers to be able to input their observation of student learning. In order to support the implementation of the Human Development and Sexual Health units, 3 additional resources have been developed from OFIA, including a general introduction to instruction, including background information on inclusion, differentiated instruction, assessment and evaluation, and yearly, unit, and daily planning. The Introduction to Healthy Living strand includes key information on all the healthy living topics, as well as instructional strategies, suggested best practices for creating an emotionally safe and inclusive learning environment, and a list of potential community partners by health topic. The third resource, a Human Development and Sexual Health Glossary, includes a list of terms related to human development and sexual health. This document is for teacher or educator reference only. When teaching human development and sexual health, educators are encouraged to create an inclusive and respectful learning environment. In such an environment, diversity is valued, and all students should see themselves reflected in the curriculum, their physical surroundings, and the broader environment, so that they can feel engaged in and empowered by their learning experiences. In an inclusive learning environment, educators are encouraged to use language that includes a variety of family structures and cultural differences, and that moves away from language that might gender people, using gender-neutral language instead, which focuses on addressing the anatomy specifically. Using language that is inclusive of diverse bodies and genders allows for inclusion of those who are transgender or intersex, or anyone whose bodies don't have parts often associated with their perceived gender. The learning activities and materials used in OFIA's H&PE curriculum resources grades 1 to 8 reflect the diversity of Ontario and are reflective of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Ontario Human Rights Code. They acknowledge diverse families and family structures, diverse genders and gender identities, diverse sexual orientations, as well as different types of relationships and relationship structures as identified within the Ontario curriculum. Human development and sexual health education needs to be approached with sensitivity because of the diverse values, attitudes, beliefs, and experiences that exist. Facts should be presented objectively, and students should be given a range of information to enable informed decisions based on their personal values. As a result of its sensitive nature, we will now examine a variety of inclusive instructional approaches that have been authentically integrated into the Human Development and Sexual Health lesson plans. Some considerations to keep in mind include beginning with the curriculum expectations and focusing on the key learnings of the overall expectations. Ensure that children and youth know that school codes of conduct guidelines and Ontario human rights policies are in place to govern how everyone should act and behave. Ensure group discussions include respect, protect, and promote the sharing of individual views. Remind students that exploring these topics should lead to a development and growth of their understanding. And adjust the learning environment, if appropriate, for the needs of your specific learners. Other supportive approaches include reinforcing diversity of values, experiences, and backgrounds when planning for instruction, regardless of whether they are known to be present in that specific group of students. Providing students with resources where appropriate, especially materials on where to get additional support. understanding students' strengths and needs, as well as their background, life experiences, and possible emotional vulnerabilities, and responding to students' needs by using differentiated instructional approaches, adjusting the method or pace of instruction, and allowing for a wider choice of topics. Inclusion is a foundational value in Ontario's publicly funded education system. OFIA believes that schools are responsible for teaching students factual, accurate information, and that parents and caregivers are responsible for sharing their values, morals, and cultural beliefs. It is the intent of the public education system to challenge students and provide them with different types of factual information that do not necessarily align with the values taught at home, and to teach them to make decisions that are healthy for themselves given their personal context. If a parent, guardian, or student is requesting the exemption of the student from some or all components of the human development and sexual health lessons for reasons such as religious accommodations, please refer to your school board's specific guidelines on accommodations. Typically, religious accommodations are managed by the principal and/or vice principal. As educators, you should consult with your specific school board policies. It is also important for educators to recognize when you may require additional support and to know that you are not alone with this instruction. Investigate what school board staff and/or community partners are available to assist you in knowledge mobilization and implementation of the curriculum. Seek advice from colleagues in education, such as fellow teachers, school board staff, guidance counselors, child and youth workers, social workers, child psychologists, or child welfare practitioners. Consult with the professionals at your local health unit or visit their website. Equally valuable may be the experience and knowledge shared by relevant community partners such as spiritual leaders, school chaplains, elders, settlement workers, and people working at culturally significant agencies that work to meet the needs of diverse groups in the community. We will now review additional implementation supports available through the Ontario education community. Parent resources and quick fact sheets are available from the Ministry of Education in a variety of languages. These can be downloaded or ordered from the Ministry of Education curriculum website as well as on EduGains. Web addresses for those resources, the Ministry of Education and EduGains, are located here. Supports are also available for educators and administrators from the Catholic Principals Council of Ontario, the Institute for Catholic Education, CCAN, as well as your local public health unit. We suggest checking out these resources in order to support your planning and instruction. Here we see OFIA's Health and Physical Education Support Strategy. With release of the new Health and Physical Education curriculum, OFIA is excited to provide a variety of implementation supports. OFIA has a selection of additional teaching tools that are being updated to align with revisions to the elementary curriculum, including a poster and video series on the 5 fundamental principles, which are available now from teachingtools.ofia.net. These tools will provide support in understanding the major pedagogical shifts in the 2015 curriculum and what that looks like in your practice. As this webinar is the first in a series of 3, OFIA would love your feedback on what the next webinar related to human development and sexual health can focus on. Please reflect on what additional support you or your team might require, and please respond now. Great, so I see someone's looking for high school support. Inclusivity for healthy relationships, great. Confidence, how can we help teachers gain confidence around gender issues? specific tools to help them with tricky topics, legal aspects. I see a question about the lesson plan, so they do link to all the tools that you need. So the student resources, teacher resources are all included. So once you go to the lesson plan, everything is available there for download. Sample answers, great. Additional supports, videos, awesome, lots of really great ideas. Split classroom, okay, thanks. We are making sure to capture all of those. All right, thank you. Thanks for those ideas. So please stay on the lookout for registration invites for our next speaker series. We'll share this information through our eConnection newsletter, so sign up to our newsletter after this, and we hope you will join us. In the meantime, please do not hesitate to contact us with regarding our Human Development Sexual Health lesson plans or any of our health and physical education supports through the contact information on the slide. Please take a moment now to complete the webinar evaluation, which is posted in the chat. Here we go. And we look forward to connecting with you again soon. So if you can take a moment to click on that link, and if you have any questions, send them along to the information that is on the slide, and we will see you for our next webinar, which will be taking place on February 25th. Stay tuned to eConnection for more information, and we'll connect with you then. Thank you, everyone.